How do you make business problems disappear? Wrap them in bacon. For business owners, marketing execs, and anyone trying to grow your business, pump your profits, and make more while doing less, welcome to Bacon Wrapped Business with Brad Costanzo. Sizzling hot business advice guaranteed to make you fat. Profits? Every week our chefs will serve you proven recipes for ramping up your revenue. Now here's your host, Brad Costanzo.
Hey there, big air high five to all my brand new listeners and a double air high five to all my longtime listeners. I want to really thank everybody for listening to the show and sharing it, leaving comments, and most importantly, leaving those wonderful 5-star iTunes reviews, which help grow the audience. Couldn't do this without my audience. Actually, I could, but it would be like there's the tree falling in a forest with nobody around to hear. I would still chop down these trees because it gives me a chance to talk to some of the brightest minds in business and marketing, people I consider friends and most importantly mentors. And I always have a lot to learn on every single one of these shows, and I hope you do as well. But thank you very much for sharing the show, talking about it, and emailing me at askbrad@baconwrapbusiness.com with your biggest questions, show ideas, guest ideas, and even some awesome strategies that I've heard. In fact, if you're listening to this and you'd ever like to get featured on the show, send me an email to askbrad@baconwrapbusiness.com. Tell me why you think my listeners would love hearing from you and kind of the value you'd like to share, because I'm always looking for people with new, unique insights to help others improve their profits, grow their business. And it doesn't have to be about just marketing or business development. It can be about buying and selling businesses. It can be about doing deals, creating systems, doing anything that can help other business owners out there prosper even more. So today, I'm bringing on a guy that I consider to be a rock star in the world of online marketing education, and his name is Russell Brunson. He's been in this business for a very long time, has achieved massive amounts of success, both when he was working from home and then when he scaled the business to, I believe, over 100 employees at one point. And he's done a little bit of everything, and he's a guy you can learn from immensely, no matter if you are in the beginning world of internet information marketing or you have a big business doing any type of online marketing or direct response advertising. This guy has done a little bit of it all, and he's recently created some amazing tools for other business owners to take a lot of the headaches out of the technology side of internet marketing. And he's going to be sharing a program that he is just now launching called ClickFunnels, clickfunnels.com. You can go take a look at it now or later on. I'll provide a link in the show notes. But I consider Russell to be a guy that is just a wealth of information. I remember seeing him on stage years ago and buying some of his information products and learning what he's done, and I've copied and followed a lot of his tactics and techniques throughout the years. We became friends, and I asked him to be on the show because I guarantee he's got a lot to share, and he doesn't do a lot of podcasts. So this will be a great way for you to eavesdrop in on our conversation because I've got a lot of things that I want to ask him anyway. So, without any further ado, let me see if old Russell is on the phone. Russell, how are you today?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks so much for having me here. I'm excited.
Yeah, I appreciate it. As I said, I've probably stolen, swiped, and borrowed more of your ideas for my own business than most people I know, and I follow a lot of the stuff you're doing very closely. As a matter of fact, I called you, or I emailed you a few weeks ago when I looked at one of your promotions for your split testing book. And the landing page on that, I'm sure a lot of people were just chomping at the bit to get the book. And I was looking at what you were doing on this landing page, thinking, okay, this is some really, really. I was going to say ninja or gangsta or one of those old school terms for something that's really cool. But now I'm changing the meme here. That was some bacon wrapped landing page right there.
Bacon wrapped, yeah.
I'm changing the meme single-handedly. But as I said, I really appreciate you being on the show just to give people a little bit more background into the big picture, because I'll get into your origin story here in a second. But most recently, you released an incredible book called 108 Proven Split Tests, which has become somewhat of a marketing Bible for me lately with myself and my clients going through there saying, oh, this is amazing. It's just a ton of the tests that you've done over the years. You helped pioneer and perfect a method of selling called the invisible funnel with Deegan Smith, which I've used both myself, my clients, seen tremendous success. And it's amazing. I only see still a handful of really astute marketers doing it, and every single one of them is claiming how amazing the invisible funnels worked for them. And you've just launched a software. It's still in beta at this moment, called ClickFunnels, whose goal, you told me, is to make webmasters and designers somewhat obsolete or unnecessary, which I'm sure, actually, my webmaster was looking at this, and that was his first example. He goes, people are trying to put us out of business.
That's awesome.
But it's great. And I was like, yeah, you better work harder. You better come up with some more advanced stuff. And I want to get into ClickFunnels, really soon, because that's the most recent thing you're working on, and I think probably one of the most exciting. So, if you're listening to this on iTunes, stay tuned for that. You're definitely going to want to hear about this. But I want you to give me a brief backdrop. I don't like going into the long origin stories, but didn't this all start with a potato gun? You told this story a million times. You're probably sick of it, but I think it's important to
it's very important. Yeah. No, it did. Well, first off, I want to thank you for having me on the show. I'm a fan of it, and we've been listening to Bacon Wrap Business all week here in the office. We've been pulling some late nights, and
nice.
Appreciate being on here. And also just for everyone who are your followers, like I just want to say there's two things about you that impress me. One of them is like there's probably only 2 or 3 people I know in this whole entire industry who, when I go to an event and I see them, I'm excited because I know when I talk to them, they're going to be like, hey man, check this out. And like, give me 3 or 4 like just awesome, cool ideas. And every time I see you, I get excited. 'Cause I'm like, oh man, Brad's got something for me. I know. And every time we talk, like I just get cool stuff. And the second reason is because you're one of the few guys I know, like for example, what you talked about earlier with our landing page, like we leave traces of some cool stuff we're doing that we haven't shared yet. And one of the little things, our order form bump that you kind of picked up and modeled, and you got same results. Like we've used it now in 4 different of our niches, and it's like I think it's my biggest cash producing concept of the year so far. And you're the only person who's caught it. And so like I just love the fact that like you're not only like you're just like me, like you look and you're seeing this stuff and you recognize like cool things when they're there, and you jump on them fast. So anyway, I appreciate you and just excited to be here. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that. Well, first of all, is that page still live? Because I'd love to give that page out to people. So it's the word DOT, com secrets labs, right? .com.
Yep.
Okay. DOT, and I'll put a link on the show, but .com secrets labs. .com. And when you go there, if you do anything in the building websites or funnels or marketing, you definitely want to get this book. And it's the offer. We may as well just jump into this. And what I thought was so brilliant about it, it's a free plus shipping offer. And a lot of people have seen this. Listen, if you pick up the shipping cost, which is I don't know $4 or $5, whatever, something arbitrary, you get this book. And by the way, this book is worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. It is one of the most well-produced books. I'm not saying this to kind of, just kiss your butt. It's incredible. Like it more juicy information in this than most $2,000 information products that I've ever seen. And you're giving it away for free. Plus, pick up a few bucks shipping and handling. But what you did on this, which was so freaking brilliant, and there's multiple steps on here. I won't go through in detail all of them, but hey, tell us where to ship your book, and you enter in the basic information. Here's your address, and then the next step is entering your credit card. So if anybody has ever followed Cialdini and the commitment consistency principle, okay, I've already entered in my address, so you already kind of know I want it. Then I enter in my credit card information, and right before I hit this submit to order, there's this little blinking thing that says, yes, I want it, or something. I'm not looking at it right now. And a couple lines of copy that says, hey, would you also like my video sales letter crusher template? It's easy to install. In minutes, and it's proven and it works like gangbusters, only $37. And it's this little, one-click add to order. And it was so effective. I was like, you son of a bitch, you got me. Like, I can't not order this. I'm already buying something on this split testing. So conversion's important to me. And what I picked up on that you did great was that you could explain exactly what it is and the benefits of it in 2 sentences. It's a no-brainer. You don't need a lot of persuasive sales copy, and you just got me to go from spending something, I don't remember what it was, like $5 to like $42
Yep, and we get you shared similar numbers when you kind of modeled it, but we had I think it was we're about 38% of the people take that, which increases for that free book. It increases our average order value by over $10.
Yep.
Just on the front end, not anything else, and it's insane. And like I said, we did that there. We've done it in the software space. We just did with the ClickFunnels rollout. We saw very similar numbers there. We just added it today on our supplement. It's the coolest thing ever.
So what's when you come up, I've already kind of got my idea for what it is, although, for multiple niches, no matter what you're selling here, do you have a kind of a formula for what makes that little bump work? It has to be kind of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, it's got to be, because like the first one we did, that very first one, the DCS Labs book, mm-hmm. I sat there for probably an hour, like, how do I write a sales letter in like 8 words? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's funny is like our conversion rate, like I said, is better than if you look at a typical sales funnel. You have a one-time offer afterwards, and we're getting more on this 2 lines of copy than we did on a whole entire sales video selling the next product, which is just crazy, But yeah, it's got to be something that you can explain very, very quick. Like for our supplement, it basically it's a different it's a complementary supplement. It's like, hey, you just bought our nerve pills. How would you like to add our fish oil for an extra $40? We'll throw this in the package. Boom, just a really quick thing, right? With the supplements, or with ClickFunnels, software how to build funnels, and it was like, hey, how would you like our advanced training, our 9 secret funnels? Click here to add it to your order, and boom. And that one we did $47, and it just worked. So something you can explain really, really quick that it's got to tie and like marry really well to the original offer. So there's like, oh, this will help amplify whatever I just did, and yep. It's crazy.
Well, what we did, when I say we, one of my clients who's in the real estate investment niche, so he sells a software and education on how to be a better real estate investor, and the initial offer is a 2-disc DVD, 4 hours of training. I mean, this is an incredible look over my shoulder. I'm going to tell you exactly the way we run our business. 4 hours of training for only $4.99. We started it out at like $9.37, but we're like, let's make it $4.99. That seems much more like a real shipping and handling cost. Plus, we don't even care if we lose a little bit up there. The conversions are so well, and then. So they're buying all this education that you actually have to kind of sell. Then our little bump offer was, by the way, would you also like these, 7 proven direct mail templates that we use in our business every day, proven to get sellers calling your phone. So it's like, this is the templates. It's done for you. You have to have it. It's like, oh, these are the ones we use in our business. Do you want them?
Yeah, might as well just... Who's like, say no to that? It's like the greatest thing in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're selling 7 pages of a Word document for $37 upsell, but we're selling a 4-hour training DVD for $4.99. And so our stats, exactly like you said, so our upfront stats are depending on the traffic source. Let's just say a 5% front end conversion, and then anywhere from 25 to 35% on that bump, which took our average customer value from $4.99 to an average of about $29. Like that's like, what is that, 5-6 times what the average customer value was? Well, here's what's interesting too, by the way. I don't know. We added it onto, we had a webinar, and after the webinar registration, it was like, hey, thanks for attending the webinar. Thanks for registering. By the way, why don't you go ahead and pick up this free DVD for us? And I'm looking at the stats here. Now, this isn't, we've only got about 1,000 hits on this, but it's got the front end 20% conversion on just the DVD alone, and the bump was 37.5% conversion. I'm looking at the numbers right here. Mm-hmm. And 20% right after the webinar offering that up. Huge numbers. Anyway, it's .com-secretslabs.com. I thought it was brilliant. And
like I said, you're the only person that even noticed it. Like, I'm freaking out. Like, I want to tell the people about it, but nobody really cares. And you reached out to me like, man, I saw that and I did it and it worked. I'm like, yeah.
The minute I saw it, I sent it to my webmaster. I said, swipe this page tomorrow. And then I'm going to go ask Russell for forgiveness.
Your Facebook message to me was literally like, hey, man, I totally knocked off just asking for forgiveness because it's already done. I'm like, sweet dude. Love it.
Yeah, but it's freaking killing it. So, and I want to circle back to this when we talk about ClickFunnels.
we're totally all over the place. We skipped the whole origin story and everything.
Dude, that's
People are like potato guns. When are they coming back to potato? Anyway,
that's what it's like when you're frying bacon. You get grease everywhere. Mic drop. So, potato gun. This is where it all started.
Yeah. So potato guns. Yeah. So I was in college. I was wrestling at Boise State University, and was just married to my wife and was trying to figure out how to hustle so I could not quit my job or not quit wrestling. I wanted to be able to wrestle and be married. And anyway, that's kind of where it's at. So I was hustling, trying to figure out ways to make money. Found out about this whole internet marketing thing, and I tried tons of different things. And one of the things I learned about was information marketing, and people were selling all sorts of stuff. And the only skill I had at the time was wrestling. I had nothing else. And I didn't want to sell wrestling stuff though, because I thought I could get in trouble with NCAA and all that. So I'm like, what else do I know how to do? And so wrestling season ended. It was spring break. My buddy and I went out, and we had a week where basically we had no school, and our wives were both working. So like we were stuck at home bored while all of our friends were, doing what people that aren't married do on spring break. Traveling and having fun. And so we were just stuck in Boise bored, and he's like, hey man, we should make potato guns. I'm like, what's potato guns? He's like, oh, there's these cool like cannons you build out of PVC pipe. I'm like, that sounds like fun. Like, how do you make them? He's like, I don't know. Let's go look on the internet. So we started searching on the internet. We spent like 5 or 6 hours trying to find plans on how to make potato guns, and finally found some that were all right. And then we took and everyone's plans were different. They had different ideas, and we took all that stuff and we started kind of researching and trying to figure out what was best. And from that, we kind of figured out this is the best way to make a potato gun. And so then we went to Home Depot. We bought some pipes, cut them up, spent the next couple of days building these potato guns, and went out and started shooting them. And had a ton of fun, and it was an awesome week. And then school started back up again, and I was sitting in one of my classes, and I was trying to like, my teachers are teaching stuff. I'm thinking internet marketing stuff because I'm so excited about it. And I heard someone talk about, if you remember this is back when it was Overture, and they're talking about a site. It was inventory.overture.com. Like you go to the site, you type in a keyword, and it'll show you how many people a month they're searching for. And I read that on this article. I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I wonder if anyone besides me this weekend was searching for potato guns. And I typed it in, and there was like 38,000 people that month had searched for potato guns. And that's when the light bulb went off my head. I was like, it took us like 6 hours to find good potato gun plans. What if we just made a DVD or something and taught people how to make potato guns? And that was the first product, man. We borrowed a video camera from somebody. We started over from scratch, and we made a potato gun and filmed us making it. We went to Home Depot again, bought the pipes, and filmed us, going through the whole process, and made a little DVD. And that's how I launched my info publishing career. And the rest is all history. It's kind of gone from there.
Yeah, the rest is history. It's you've released products on a million different things.
Oh,
and
you totally became obsessed with this afterwards, yeah.
Right, exactly. Now, were you collecting, because you said, didn't you say you collected, I said junk mail earlier, because that's what most people think it is, but to us it's,
it's gold.
There's gold in the junk mail.
Yeah.
You said you collected those direct response letters and...
Yeah, when I was 12 years old, I remember I used to watch TV with my parents, and about the time the news would come on, they'd send me to bed. And one night, my mom must have already fallen asleep or something, because she wasn't there to send me to bed. My dad was watching TV, and he was kind of working on his stuff. And the news ended, and like he didn't tell me to go to bed. And I was like, oh, sweet. So I was just sitting there, trying to be quiet so he wouldn't, make me go to bed. And then after the news came on, this infomercial popped up, and this dude named Don Lepre came on, and he was talking about how to make money with tiny little classified ads. And I remember listening to this guy talk, and again, I'm a 12-year-old kid, and I'm freaking out, like this guy's making millions of dollars. And I still remember he told this story. He was like, I placed an ad in a newspaper, and I made $30 profit. And he's like, I was so excited. I told my friends and my family, and they kind of made fun of me, and I was confused. Like I thought I was so excited, but they were like, congratulations, you made a business, you made $30. That's not that big a deal. So he's like, but I realized what I had is I had a system that worked. I just need to take that same ad and place it in 1,000 newspapers. And he did, and he said, then I made $30,000. And I remember like the light bulbs went off in my head, and like that was like an entrepreneur was born in that moment, and it was me. And I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. I remember looking at my dad, and he wasn't even paying attention. I'm like, Dad, we need to buy this thing. And he's like, oh, you're still awake? I'm like, Dad, we got to buy this. And he's like, well, you can go earn the money, but I'm not going to buy it. I don't want this, but you can go earn the money. So I went out and I mowed lawns for the next month to earn the $40 for the kit. and went and ordered. I ordered the kit and it got shipped out to me. I still have it actually on my dresser. I still have it to this day. It was the beginning of my whole entrepreneurial journey, but I got the kit, went through it, loved it. And then I was trying to figure out, what I could do to make money. And I went to the grocery store and I saw Small Business Opportunity magazine, which is still the greatest magazine on earth. And it's like literally 140 pages of ads and like one article. That's the entire thing. And I read all these ads and I got so excited. And they all had like a phone number to call to get your free kit or your free report or whatever. So I called every single one of these phone numbers, like, send me the kit, send me the report, send it to me. And I didn't know at the time, but the reports were sales letters. And I started getting just like literally dozens and dozens of sales letters in the mail every single day from all these different money-making opportunities. And I remember as a 12-year-old kid reading these sales letters. And I actually started storing them. I had a huge box full of thousands and thousands of letters that I had read. And I kept them all the way until the day I went to college. And the day I left the college, my mom took this huge box of junk mail and threw it in the garbage. But I got one last picture of me before she threw it away. And I wish to this day I would do anything for that box of junk mail, sales letters from back then. But I was hooked back then. And ever since then, I've been trying to figure out how to hustle and make money. And it's been a fun ride for sure.
That's awesome. And what's great? Most people, I'd say 99.9% of people out there, especially if you're not in the world of marketing and especially direct response, looks at that as junk mail. But what do you think people can learn by studying the sales letters that they receive in the mail or they see on the internet? Is because most people just jump in and they just read it as the consumer. But you and myself, I know I do this as well. I try to put myself on the other side and try to figure out, okay, well, what are they doing here? What do you think people can learn by paying attention to the marketing messages that are out there?
It's the most valuable part. Like you said, like going to .com Secrets Labs, like buying the book's really good and you're going to learn a bunch of stuff. But watching the process I take you through is worth 10 times that. I remember the first time I met TJ Roletter. And TJ is like the direct mail king of the world. And I offered him, I said, I will give you $1,000 if you will take one of every single letter you have in your office and just put them in a box and mail it to me. And I was dead serious. And he laughed and he said, don't worry, dude, I'll do it anyway. And he literally sent me a huge box full of every one of these sales letters. And I've got them here in my drawer. I can see them from where I'm sitting right now. And that was that was the greatest gift he could have ever given me because I saw like the envelopes and how he packaged them and just the coolest thing in the world. So I would say like when things come in your mailbox, like watch them and keep them. Everyone here at the office, they say I'm a hoarder. And they totally make fun of me because we get junk mail in the mail, we get postcards and I store them in a filing cabinet and they're like, you're such a hoarder. But every one of those little pieces to me is gold. Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many times swiping and borrowing, and that is the key to all direct response and advertise. Especially, I'll say direct response, not branding advertising, because in the traditional world of Main Street advertising, everybody's trying to win originality awards versus doing what's proven, what always works. And if you pay attention to what other people are doing, especially the more often you see it, that thing's working. And one of my favorite books that I've ever read was actually, and I use this term all the time, which is Borrowing Brilliance. And it's a book you can get it on Amazon, and it really is about how you can borrow the brilliance of people in one industry and match it up to another. And he's got this whole this like 7-step process to innovate on the backs of what other people are doing, and everything from brainstorming exercises to you name it. But I love that concept because granted, there are a lot of folks out there who totally and blatantly swipe and steal and don't give credit and plagiarize and copy, but real marketers, they borrow with, and then they add their own twist or they add their own thing to this that makes it really work, and they improve upon each other's back. And the beautiful part, one of the things I've always loved about, maybe this is just the internet marketing industry because it's relatively new and there's a lot of people like yourself and me who are trying to carve their own way, maybe whether we want to do it from home or start a bigger business like you've got. We all share with each other, and competition, most of us look at it as co-opetition. It's like, hey man, here's what I'm doing. You should try this in your own business. Most businesses out there don't act like that. They have this very, hey, this is mine. I'm not going to tell my competition what I'm doing. Yeah. It's amazing to me that so many people are so that way. And I'm the exact opposite. Like I give everything because I can't tell you how many people I share something cool and then you'll come back like, well, check this out. And then boom, that adds an extra, $100,000 a month to our bottom line because of the cool thing you share. So it's like, it's a whole all the rising tides thing, right? All
rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, I
and
totally believe in that.
And it's funny because I got a handful of different kinds of clients, and some of them are in the world of information and internet marketing, and some of them are just more regular style businesses that offline, brick and mortar, whatever you want to call it. And what I've noticed is that in the world of internet marketing, the concept of a joint venture is thrown around. It's one of the very first things that people think. I'm going to create an information product, and then I'm going to find somebody else to promote it for me. And that's the joint venture, because I don't have to pay unless they sell it, et cetera, et cetera. And it's abused like crazy. But what's interesting is that joint ventures seem to be the first thing that most new marketers try to figure out. But it's the last thing that most offline marketers do. And because they're like, well, what do you mean I'm gonna partner up in some way with some other company? I don't know who they are. They don't know who I am. That's the very last strategy they end up using, and sometimes it can be one of the most profitable. I know with some of my clients, I've engineered some alliances and joint ventures, nothing to do with internet marketing, and it's been wildly successful. And it was like pulling teeth to get them to see
the value
of it. I'm like, man, this is thrown around everywhere, and the world of the internet.
This is the easiest way to do it on earth. Come on, guys. Yeah,
exactly. But okay, so we talked a little bit about the copywriting, et cetera. I've always seen you as that's one of your skills. You may have copywriters who work for you, but would you say that copywriting is one of the the core competencies that you bring to the table in your business? Or
yeah, I think I wouldn't say that I'm like an A-list copywriter. There are guys who are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is the guys that are really, really good are really expensive.
Yeah.
And so for my big projects where I know this is a big thing we're going to do, especially if it's going after a colder, cold traffic, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll hire some of the guys that I think are the A-list ones.
Mm-hmm.
But because they're so expensive, because we do so many projects, just out of necessity, I've had to learn copy.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're testing so much stuff, and so we need to test things on the fly and change them and move things around, I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it. And I've had a couple letters that I've personally written that have done well over $1 million. A bunch of different webinars we've done that have done that. So I would say I'm a good copywriter. But I'd say there are people that are better. But it's such a necessary skill.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you're like we are in the trenches where you're testing so many things. Like copywriters, it's hard to go back. Hey man, I need a new headline, and I need you to. You have to be out there the same way you are, looking at 1,000 different things, because part of it's copy, part of it's layout, part of it's conceptual strategy. There's so many things that beyond just the words that are in there, right?
Yeah.
And it's the blending of all those things. And so I think that for me, out of necessity, I got kind of good at a lot of those things because you've got to be able to blend all those things together to really get an offer and get it from doing good to great,
Nice. So then what do you think your, I guess, superpower is there one thing that you're most like if you were going to give up the whole business and just be hired to do one thing because you knew that hey I'm awesome at this, what would that be? Is there a specific skill set that you're really proud of?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's something I ran from for like 5 or 6 years. I kept trying to hire people to do it, and then I had this like awakening one day where I realized that that the one task of my business that I'm actually good at, because I'm not a great designer. I'm not a great programmer. I'm not a good people person. The thing that I'm best at, I think, is twofold. One is I have a very clear understanding of exactly where I'm trying to get to. Right, I know exactly what the pieces, all the things that are in place. Mm-hmm. And then I think I'm really good at tying all those things together, like a glorified project manager. I don't want to call it project manager because it doesn't sound like glorified, but really that's what I do all day. I literally have my team of people, and I'm kind of here's the vision, here's what we're doing, and we're bouncing off ideas, and we're pulling all the pieces together and getting it all to work. And I think that I think that's kind of my superpower is that skill set to bring together a group of really good people and get us all working and moving forward on one project. And I've been blessed to have an amazing team of people who work with me who have made all these things possible, because I'm a good idea guy, but a good starter, but I've got an amazing team of people who help implement and finish and grow these things. So it's definitely a team effort.
That's great. That's one of the things I noticed about you, having seen. I mean, you were already doing some real big business by the time I had kind of come around to this whole world. But, you'd started off out of your bedroom or living room or whatever, pretty small. And a lot of really successful marketing gurus and experts have just kind of done that, and they've remained small. And I was always impressed at how big you grew quick. I mean, you had a large sales floor, phone sales floor. You had, a big team. You had an office, actually. You weren't just working in your underwear unless you came to work like that. I don't know. Those Boise folks.
Days.
Those Boise folks I've heard were pretty wild. So
yeah. It's interesting. We've gone through cycles like that because you're right. Like as an entrepreneur, I think you probably get the same way. You get excited by something, and so you go kind of crazy, and sometimes you don't think it all the way through. So when we started our business, it was me, and then we brought on a couple people, and then within like 2 or 3 years, we'd grown to 100 people. Wow. And it was crazy. We had a huge 20,000 square foot office. We had all these things, and that was really, really cool. And then we shrunk back down to about, 5 or 6 people and went that route. And now I'd say we're probably about 15 people on our team right now. We do have an office, but we've been, I don't know, maybe it's just because I read the book and drank the Kool-Aid, but we just read the book Remote.
I haven't heard of that.
By Jason Fry, it's the 37 Signal guys.
Oh, cool. I read Rework, but wait.
Yeah, Rework. This is Remote's their next book. Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool.
But it's all about like the concept that they kind of bring in is just like, hey, when you need to get a project done, where do you go? Do you go to work? And you're like, no, I come in early, or I stay late, or I go to the coffee shop, or whatever it is, right, to get work done. Mm-hmm. And they talked about like how to change your company so that work's always getting done. And most of it's like sending people home so you can actually get stuff done. And anyways, we're kind of doing some tests that way where we're looking at now at like having people working more remote. And so we're playing different ideas, but it definitely evolves and changes, and different, at least for me, it's been different cycles in my life, what we've done. And right now we're smaller, but we've played in all sorts of the big business and the smaller, and anyway, it's fun.
What do you like more, the bigger or the smaller nimble team? Because sometimes bigger means more problems.
Yeah, bigger means a lot more problems. So what's interesting is like right now we're doing with our team of about 15 people, we're doing I would say almost identical top line revenue to what we were doing when we had 100 people. Mm-hmm. And the big difference was we had 100 people who were pretty good, where now we got 15 people who are rock stars. And I think perfect. I would rather have a smaller team where like literally we got you met Todd, the guy that developed ClickFunnels. Like we used to have 5 full-time programmers here in Boise, and Todd can literally do in a weekend what it would take those guys 5 or 6 months, the entire team to do. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have one of him than 5 or 6 other guys. And that's how, everyone on my team I look at right now, they're all here. Like they can literally do the work that would take me 5 or 6 or 7 people from the way our company was before. So I'm much bigger, like just finding rock stars and keeping it small.
Yeah, and that's a lesson I kind of had to learn the hard way too. I mean, a lot of times when you're starting off, when I started off, I was in debt. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was trying to get by, like Tim Ferriss said in the 4-Hour Work Week. You just hire a bunch of Indian outsourcers, and next thing you know, you're rich. It doesn't work like that. But not that Tim said that, but that's what a lot of people kind of took, like, oh, that's as easy as it is. And then you pay peanuts, you get monkeys, and they end up costing a lot more in the long run. And then what I found the hard way is that you get burned by going with cheap labor. And then you get burned for when it's time to go hire somebody who's really good. I know I didn't trust them because I just thought they were going to burn me as well. So I would kind of hem and haw. And then finally when I just, granted this came after I made a lot more money, and I was just like, screw this. I'm not going to hire monkeys anymore. I'm going to hire the people who are really good at what they do. And I was like, this is crazy. You mean this didn't take you 6 months to finish? Yeah. You got it done yesterday? That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So of all the things you've done, is there anything you're kind of the most proud of so far? I mean, or is it every, ClickFunnels, the newest thing, or is there?
Yeah. So like you said, we've tried so many different things. We have a supplement company that's doing well. We've got info products, we've got coaching, everything. But I would say for me, the thing that I'm most proud of is definitely now ClickFunnels. Cool. For a lot of different reasons. And I really think the main one is, I feel like for the last 10 years or so that I've been in this business, I've been doing a lot of things. We've been creating value and building businesses and stuff. But I've always I feel like there's, I don't know how to explain it. Like I've been waiting for the right opportunity, and I didn't know what it was. And I think you have to do a lot of stuff a lot of times until you find like the opportunity that's like, that's the one, like that's the one that makes the most sense to me. 10 years ago, ClickFunnels wasn't possible. Like we didn't, it wasn't there. And mm-hmm. we've had to work our butts off and try a lot of different things till we found like, this is the project. And I really think that with everything we've done the last 10 years, like ClickFunnels is the culmination of all of that in one spot. And so I'm proud of it. And I literally think, and maybe I'm just drinking my own Kool-Aid, I don't know, but I think that it's the biggest advancement in online marketing since the invention of the autoresponder. Like, and I know that's saying a lot, but it literally, like last night I was here in the office and I built 6 membership sites in about 3 hours.
Damn.
Like that normally would have taken me
months,
a year. That would have been a year's worth of projects. I did it all last night between eating sushi and then heading home. Like literally, Todd and I went and had some sushi, came back for 3 hours, busted out the membership sites, went home. And it's just, it puts the power back into the hands of people like us, like the entrepreneurs who aren't smart enough to code and design. And now we can get in there, I can get my hands dirty and I can just get crap done because I need to get it done. And anyway, I think it's going to change a lot of people's lives, a lot of businesses. And it's really going to be our core focus moving forward and just making it better and better and making it the best tool out there. So
that's awesome. Well, I love it. And that's a perfect segue to kind of back up a little bit and just, for anybody out there who has not yet just run off and said, okay, what is this ClickFunnels thing? How do you explain ClickFunnels? What is it?
Yeah. So it's such a, how do you explain that? Well, I guess there's 2 steps. One is understanding a sales funnel, right? And I know that you and I understand this and hopefully a lot of your listeners do, but when I first came online, I looked at people's websites and you see like this front page, right? And you're like, oh, there's a website. I can do that. And so I would do that and then I wouldn't make any money. And I'm like, why is this not working? And it didn't get to the point where I started buying people's products and saying, oh, after they sell this, then they upsell me on this. And then they take me here. And then you start seeing people's process behind it. And I was looking at kind of like the whole tip of the iceberg analogy, right? Like you see someone's website, like someone comes to .com Secrets Labs and like, oh, there's Russell's website. Cool. And you see this tip of the iceberg and you're like, I'm going to knock it off and you clone it and you can't make any money with it. Like, well, how's Russell making money with this? Well, you look at it like, since we launched .com Secrets Labs, that website's made us over $1 million. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you're giving away a free book. How do you make $1 million? Okay, well, there's this whole rest of this iceberg. There's this funnel, right? Someone buys that. And then there's the order form bump. Then there's upsell. There's a downsell. And then another upsell. Now, if that happens, then they're invited, 7 days later to an automated webinar where we're selling this. And then they get a phone call over here. And then like there's this whole thing that's happening, this whole funnel in the back of it, right? And so traditionally, like you have to, like I'm sure you're probably the same way. Like we'd have an idea for a product and we go on this. I have a huge wall that's just a big whiteboard.
Oh yeah.
We'd map it out, right? Okay, step one, the funnel is going to be this page right here. And after they put their email address, and then they'll take them to this page, we're going to ask for their credit card. And these are the 2 different pricing options there. And then we're going to take them to this page. And then we map out this whole extensive, huge funnel, right? And then we'd go show our designers, and they would spend a week or 2 designing the pages. Then we'd get somebody to slice the pages. Then we get our other guy to install the pages. And we get someone to hook our shopping cart. And it would literally take, like, on a fast, if we were trying to build out a funnel pretty quick, like we could take about a month for us to get one done. And so that's what a funnel is, right? And that's how we make money. That's the whole secret internet marketing is you've got to have a good funnel.
Yep.
But again, there was never an easy way. And over the last year, there's some people they're my competitors now, but I'm grateful for them. They came out with some really cool ways to build landing pages. And we looked at 2 or 3 different solutions and it's like, man, these are really cool. It's a simple way for people like us, we can build landing pages. But the problem is like it's just, again, it's a flat website. It's not a funnel. It's not something that can really help you. So,
and you have to know what that funnel looks like, because it's like, here's a bunch of options. Now piece it together. Be the chef. I know that I have to have this squeeze page, and then I have to have a sales page, then I have to have an order form, and then an one-time offer, and an upsell, and a downsell, and all this stuff. And you kind of have to do it yourself and piece it all together. And then that's what I thought really the brilliance of ClickFunnels is you've done that. You've linked them, and you've linked them in a way that's templated, and it's like, yeah, you can do it on your own, or look. Let us walk you through it. Let us take you by the hand. And what's great about what you've done, I mean, the 108 split tests is such a great, by the way, compliment to this, because it proves, look, we test the hell out of this. We've done it in all different types of niches. We know what we're doing. We know what kind of funnels work. So if you already agree that, hey, yeah, we're pretty good at this, why reinvent the wheel? Let us tee this up for you so you can redesign it, make it your own, but the general flow is proven.
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
And not only is the general flow proven, like I'm again, me and you are very similar. Like I go to every single person's website. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I take snapshots of every single one of them, right? And so like I literally have a file here with like 500 of my favorite squeeze pages, and I have a file with like 50 of my favorite upsell pages and all kind of stuff. So what I just did when we launched ClickFunnels, I said, okay, here's my 500 squeeze pages. I want every one of these designed inside of ClickFunnels. And some of our designers went and they cloned them and put them in ClickFunnels. And so not only are you getting the proven sales flow, you're also getting the proven page templates, layout, design, all that kind of stuff. And we have, as of today, we have 140 templates in there. We have another probably 100 to 200 that are just in the queue that we're going to be adding in as soon as we get, through this initial launch. But every page that converts for us ever in the future, any cool page I see that we test and converts will be inside ClickFunnels. And this library will keep growing. So you get proven process flow, but then also proven layout of pages. And so it's basically taking most of all the hard work that we've all been doing for the last 10 years and making it really, really simple and easy.
Right. Well, and it kind of feels like this is your private internal funnel creation system that you guys use, and you're allowing other people to piggyback off of yours as it is without. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to allow you to use it as well, which I love because, hey, if I'm going to be swiping and stealing your funnels anyway.
Might as well help. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy too is, so most people, if you're just swiping, and swiping is a good thing. Like taking a swipe, customizing it for your own, that's not a bad thing if there's anybody who doesn't really understand the concept. But if you're going out there swiping anyway, most of the times the best you can hope to do is get somebody's, doing competitive intelligence is their squeeze page and their sales page and maybe their order form, unless you're going out and buying everybody's product and going through their entire funnel. You're really hamstrung. You get like, okay, I can only see the front end of what they're doing. I don't get to see where they make all their money, which, as you know, is in the back end. And you're like, well, no, this is the back. We're showing you the entire back end because all of these pages in here are proven. They're the ones we either use or really like. And you can use them, and you can almost go shopping and do all your competitive intelligence on your pages. So if I want to go see, okay, well, what are all the one-time offer templates? What are all the order form templates you guys are using? That stuff is so valuable because it works. And man, it brings me back to when I first started. I remember sitting at my kitchen table with my then partner, TV Aguirre, who is the little shout out to him. I'll make him listen to this because I know we both followed your stuff. But TV was more tech savvy, and at the time, like WordPress was still kind of like, what the hell is WordPress? And I remember, custom coding our first squeeze page, and luckily for him, he was tech savvy enough. Because I just kept on screaming. Like, we joke about this to this day. It can't be this hard. There has to be an easier way. We are making this way more difficult than it needs to be.
Yeah.
There has to be an easier way. I was just screaming. And to this day, he still, when he calls me up, that's probably how he remembers me. But and then we discovered WordPress. Man, WordPress was great compared to custom coding it, but it was still like, it felt like rocket science. And I'll tell you, dude, still, until, some of your competitors came along and until you came along, which has really been in the past just a couple of years, sitting down and thinking about creating a funnel, I'd sit there and almost get anxiety. Going, okay, do I have to hire somebody to do this? I don't even know what I want it to look like. I'll just know that it's good once I've seen it, and I don't want to have to lay it out and design it. Like, I would get these little panic attacks thinking it's going to take me months before I can get this thing up and out the door. With ClickFunnels, I log in, I decide, okay, what am I basically doing here? And hey, Russell's built these funnels for me. All I have to kind of do is add my own little copy and media on there, and boom, I can get it out the door. I can test it. And that's really, really when I'm giving advice to some of my clients, students, et cetera, don't worry about being the most creative. Don't reinvent the wheel. Get your message. Your message is much more important than anything else. Get your message out there in the right format and in the right sequence and test it. If it works, you want to do something custom later on, go ahead and do that. But speed to market is what I think some of the most successful people rely on. Money loves speed. I've heard that a million times. So ClickFunnels at this moment is still in a closed beta group. I know you just opened it up to the people on your early notification list. And you're working out any of the bugs, making it even more functional and making it even better. And I've been in there for the past couple months, and I haven't found any bugs is the good news, but I can see all the changes you guys are making, and it's all really, really good stuff. At this moment, when this will go live before the doors probably open, but can people get on a waiting list right now for the?
Yeah. So if you there's a waiting list set up right now at clickfunnels.com.
Cool.
And then, but we're literally from the time of us recording this within about 30 days of it going live again. And then from that point forward, it'll always be open. So just depending on when you hear this, but yeah, like I said, and we have a trial, so you can go in there and test it out and play with it. There's no risk. You can see if you like it. But I promise you guys, it'll give you the ability to literally replace 4 or 5 people on your team and put the power back in your hands. I had one of our coaching students who was like, he's all frustrated because he couldn't get his developer to log into ClickFunnels and build a site. And I'm like, look, dude, that's the whole point of it. You don't have to have a developer. Just log in. Like, it's not that hard. He's like, well, I don't know how to build websites. I don't know how to build. I don't know how to build websites either. I'm like I was like you when WordPress came out. I still couldn't figure that out. Like, I still don't know how to use WordPress. And I log in ClickFunnels, and I'm just like I said, I built all those membership sites last night all by myself. No programmer, no coder, no designer, nothing. I just did it, and they work. And I can start selling them now. Like. It's even awesome. Even all of our funnels that were built by our designers, I'm importing them over to ClickFunnels because I want to be able to do stuff on my own. I can set up split tests. I can do all this stuff now by myself that I couldn't do before and that required manpower and people, and it was just so slow to move forward. And like you said, money follows speed. I'm a huge believer in that. I promise you guys, you'll see so much stuff coming from us because I can wake up in the morning and launch an entire company by dinner time now, and
that's crazy, isn't it?
Insane.
Can you imagine just getting started in the world of internet marketing?
And
doing this right now. But by the way, on the flip side of that, this is not for beginner internet marketers. I mean, if you are a $50 million company who's doing anything online, they can and should be using this. I mean, because this is some proven stuff. There's no reinventing the wheel. There's no having to say, hey, let's go figure this out. You've kind of figured it out. You've teed it up for them to where if you do have a major presence, this can revolutionize somebody's business.
I would say I should do a challenge. It'd be kind of fun to do like a legitimate challenge. Just come out to a company and say, give me a company like who doesn't think funnels and stuff like that's going to help their business. I guarantee we can, who knows, but I think we could double most companies' sales by taking whatever they're selling, turning it into a funnel inside of ClickFunnels and launching it. Maybe we'll do some big fun campaign that way in the future, but I can't think of any company. Like I had a friend who's a chiropractor. He's like, well, how can I funnel my business? And we sat down for 10 minutes, mapped it out, and he was going crazy. Like, oh my gosh, like, why doesn't people talk about this? I'm like, we do. You guys just don't know we're here,
Yeah.
So
do you, and I haven't looked into this, but I imagine that it's possible. So, I'm a person who works with multiple clients, and, do I have the ability to go in there with one master account of my own and build funnels for multiple different clients that say I have 5 clients and I want to build 5 different funnels, one for client A, B, C, D. You give me that capability, right? Or do you have to buy a ClickFunnels account for each and individual client? Does it really matter?
As of today, you can. We are probably going to be introducing because right now you can. But the problem is we don't want one person to go and create accounts for 8,000 people.
Makes sense.
But as of today, you can do that. There's no limits. We probably will be opening like a developer account in the near future where you could do that, and it'll make it a lot easier so that you can have logins, they can have logins and stuff like that. So that's definitely in the queue of things we're working on. But as of today, you can do that right now. Yeah. Nice.
Well, and that's really disruptive for a lot of folks who, are doing consulting for people and who are going in and building funnels for folks. I mean, a lot of times they're charging outrageous amounts of money in a good way because a funnel can make a huge difference in somebody's business. But this allows them to go in nimble and sometimes even not necessarily drop their fees, but keep the fees really high because what they're doing looks like magic to their customers, but it's a lot easier for them. So we're kind of in a sweet spot if you're working with clients to be able to still maintain your profit margins, or actually quadruple your profit margins because it doesn't cost you as much to develop a funnel for your clients anymore. I know.
Yep. I know of at least 3 consultants right now who charge $25,000 to build a funnel, who dropped all of their programming designing team, and they do it all in ClickFunnels now. So yeah.
So the profit margins went from, I don't know, like 50% to 90%.
Yeah, at least, if not
right?
more. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you also teach people kind of the edge. That's the tool. The tool that will get everything done for you. If people want the information, kind of like if they're just starting off, they go to. Is it still .com?
Yep. So basically split these into 2 companies. ClickFunnels is like the software company, and then .com Secrets is our training company. And what's cool is we kind of like brought all of our products back internal, and like shut them down, and now we're re-releasing each of them with basically teaching the same Like for example, we had a product that we did millions of dollars with called micro continuity.
Oh, I remember that.
The biggest
that
problem
good.
is people got stuck, like they loved the concept, but they didn't know how to build that micro continuity site. Well, now we've got a micro continuity funnel, so we're re-releasing that product. So all of our products inside of .com Secrets will be re-rolling out now that ClickFunnels is done, teaching how to implement each of those core concepts with ClickFunnels. So, but yeah, that's definitely the education side of the company, to teach and train and help you to grow your companies.
Nice. Now, okay, so this is somewhat of a selfish question. There's so many funnels out there, by the way. Like, so this is almost like saying, what's your favorite? What's the most attractive woman? Is it a blonde or brunette or red or whatever? Right? It's like, well, it depends. But so, do you have a favorite funnel right now that's just like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is working like gangbusters. I know like there's the invisible funnel, there's micro continuity, there's all that. But is there one that you're just like, oh, this is so killer?
It's kind of funny. So, in fact, let me step back one step. So I'm later this year I'm doing my first like real physical book, and we're trying to do the whole New York Times bestselling campaign and everything.
Oh, cool. And
in the book, basically, I go over the 9 core funnels that we use in our company, and in that there's like I look at funnels a little different than most people. There's front end funnels, and then there's like middle funnels, and then there's like back end funnels.
Yep.
And they're all different. So it kind of depends on which aspect you're looking for. So if you're trying to sell high ticket consulting stuff, we've got this like 2-step coaching application funnel we do that I love it because it makes us insane amounts of money. And it's basically like an application and a homework page, 2-step. It's a really simple funnel. But when someone hits that funnel and goes through that little process, like it makes us a ton of money. So I love that. Yeah. But myself personally, like my favorite is still like a traditional video sales funnel. Like I just love those. I don't know why. Squeeze page, video sales letter, a couple upsells, downsells, things like that. And then from there, push people. So that's like my typical like front of the value ladder, and then upsells and back. But I would say like if I look at all of them and say my favorite, and I think you might guess this, my favorite is still like the free plus shipping funnels.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Like the .com Secrets Labs, because those are fun for 2 reasons. One is like your customers get so much value. Like the .com Secrets book, like people get that and there's like they want to give you more money. They're trying to figure out how in the world they can give you more money after they get something cool in their hands. And the other thing is it makes the marketing side way more fun as well. Because I can go now on all over Facebook and be like, hey, free book, and it's something exciting for people. So I would say if I had to pick one funnel that's my favorite, definitely would be like the free plus shipping style funnels.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the ones that we're building right now, and I've always liked this. This is none of this is actually new or revolutionary, but I know that it's worked for several people, and I'm actually using Glenn Ledwell, a mutual friend of ours, who has been using this in his business, and he says it helped to revolutionize his Facebook and cold traffic stuff. Yeah. Is the survey. And the assessment.
Yes, we're adding that into ClickFunnels, by the way. So we have a whole like 7 or 8 different type of surveys that you can add to the front of any one of your sales funnels.
I was going to ask that, and my webmaster is going to be like, "You son of a bitch! You've been making me do this for the past week." So we're going, and I'll let if this is over anybody else's head, guys, go sign up for ClickFunnels and .com Secrets and stuff. But. I don't want to explain every single little micro part of this, but so it's initially going to be a funnel, not a funnel, an assessment. So come on in and let us help you assess your probability of success in this area. And it's take these, answer these 10 questions. Give me 30 seconds to answer these 10 questions, and I'll tell you kind of how likely it is, or where you fall in the scale, or what your biggest problem is. And those are really engaging for folks, especially in the worlds of social media. They kind of click through, and you're not immediately selling them something. You drop them off on a kind of a customized page, like, hey, you only scored 36%. Here's what that means. And by the way, we're going to have a very special webinar to invite you to. We're going to cover how to overcome this issue and all these other issues that other folks have, and at the end of it, you're going to be, A-okay. And we're going to split test a couple things, and I'll tell you exactly what we're split testing here. But so after that, we drop them off after they register for the webinar on a page with a low dollar offer, and we are going to use a modified version, but not much modified, of the .com Secrets Labs one, which is, hey, get this free plus shipping offer, which will help you prepare for the webinar, and it'll help you in all these other ways with the little pre-sell bump. And then once we take them into the webinar, sell them, the various other things. we're going to split test this against, instead of doing the free plus shipping offer, do the invisible funnel. Like, hey guys, we've got this great, here's the results of your survey, and we've got this great webinar, this great class that we're going to do. And for folks who don't know what the invisible funnel is, the very, very basics are, we've got this great class we're going to do, and you can register for it. It's normally like $97, but you can register for free. Just enter in your credit card information, and after the event, we'll bill you afterwards. But it just gives us the ability to get on there and teach. Because my client that I'm doing this with, he does sell a very high-end coaching program along with software and other things. But we're gonna split test that and some variations of it. And I know it's worked like gangbusters for Glenn and some other folks. And I've always loved those little quiz surveys. They get you engaged, and they bring you through, and it makes you kind of feel like, okay, these guys didn't pitch me something. They want to know a little bit about me. And now, we use Infusionsoft, so we can, which is good and bad, but we can go in there and now tailor our message to them based upon how they did on that score. I know my friend Larry Ostrovsky, I don't know if you know Larry, but he owns sleepwellsolution.com. And he's got a great quiz there, like find out your sleep score, how poorly you're sleeping. And the thing is killing it, even to cold traffic on the opt-in and then the front-end sales and everything else. So kind of a mishmash and a lot of stuff, but I'm really excited that you're putting the survey functionality in on.
Yeah, it's weird. Like Glenn will show me his numbers and take their exact same funnel that's doing, whatever, dollar EPC, and they add a little survey quiz at the beginning of it, and they'll double or triple their EPCs.
Oh yeah,
and it's insane. I love it. Yeah, it's one of those cool little things. You're just like, man, like who would ever? Because I'm the kind of person, I've never in my life taken a quiz ever, and I don't think I ever would. But it obviously people do, and the buyers do. So that's what matters, right?
Yeah, well, and I'm really excited to kind of play around with the wording up front of the quiz. Like, hey, tell us, some people are, tell us, your biggest success blockers, or maybe, the one we're doing is, take this and we'll tell you how you rank compared to other successful investors. So this is the real estate investing market. That's kind of one of the concepts we're playing around with. Give me 30 seconds and I'll tell you how you compare to other successful real estate investors and what they're doing that you're not. So they're answering a handful of questions of, hey, I do this, I don't do this. Do you have a mentor? Yes or no? Do you do these activities? And if they come up with like a 36% or 20%, it's like, well, listen, you kind of fell low. Well, the reason is because there's these other guys who you're comparing yourself to, these successful ones, are doing a lot of stuff that you're not. And it may be X, Y, and Z. In fact, we're going to have a class and we'll tell you how to do X, Y, and Z much more effectively. Go ahead and sign up. Not to rabbit trail too much, but one of my clients has a financial newsletter all about stocks and options trading, but they treat everybody the same who comes in the door. But there's some people who already know how to trade options and know what they are and are advanced. And there's some people who just heard them on the radio and come in and like, I don't know what this is. But they speak to them the exact same. They always talk really advanced stuff. I'm like, man, you got to meet people where they're at. Should I educate you, or should I just let you, come buy my stuff? Anyway, I talk funnels all day long. And like you said, they're one of the most important things that can revolutionize somebody's business. Is if you have the right funnel in place, all of a sudden you can double or triple your revenue overnight. So, dude, this has been great. We've been talking for a little over an hour, and I'm sure people are, if they're listening in their car, they are much, past the commute time, hopefully. Speaking of that, you also have a podcast called is it Marketing in Your Car or Marketing in My Car?
Yeah, Marketing in Your Car.
Cool. So you don't do the podcast from your own car?
No, I do. So like when I'm driving to the office, I have like a 6-minute commute to the office, and not every day, but whenever I get like inspired, have an idea, it's probably 3 or 4 times a week. I just like jump on my phone. I record me just like brain dumping my coolest ideas.
Yeah.
And then upload. So they're really short 5 to 6 minute podcasts. But yeah, if you go to marketinginyourcar.com, it's fun. And I think I've got like 83 episodes now. And
nice.
I drop all my best stuff in there. And I can always tell the people who listen, because they're always like, hey man, like they know all the best ideas I have. So
Letter Gold, baby.
Ideas for free.
I heard that one the other day. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Very
cool.
And what I liked about it, this is just also me paying attention to the little stuff that matters. So I loved the concept of, marketing in your car. And it's like, hey, yeah, as I'm driving, I'm going to give you these, topics. Now, by the way, the sound is good, but the fact that you just said this is marketing in your car. Hey, I'm in my car. Maybe you're in yours. I'm going to share these things with you. It prevents you from having to have like ultra professional produced audio. It's like, man, hey, look, this is my free time. I'm choosing to spend it with you. Bite-sized chunks of information. I love that. And it gives you an excuse to have short, quick audio that anybody can listen to. When I do those sometimes on Bacon Wrap Business. I call them bacon bits.
Yeah, I love your bacon bits.
Thanks. Yeah, hey, I had a quick idea. Let me give them to you. But well, man, this has been great. We could probably sit here for hours and hours, and I know you're getting ready. You're still working on the ClickFunnels and getting the launch done, and got a million things going on. But I really appreciate your time, Russell, and I can't wait to see you at the next conference, and we can, share some notes, geek out even more. Absolutely.
Very cool.
If this is your first, you as a listener now, I'm not talking to Russell anymore, but if you're listening to this, the first time you've ever come across Russell Brunson, go check him out. I mean, he's advised some of the top people from Tony Robbins to a million of the, big gurus out there. If you've ever followed internet marketing, to big time business owners, and he's done a little bit of everything. There's very few people that I follow closely, everything they do with a very keen eye of how much of this stuff can I steal? And Russell is definitely one of them. So I highly recommend you check out .comsecrets as a DOT, comsecrets.com. Go to .comsecretslabs.com. Go to clickfunnels.com and marketinginyourcar.com. There's a whole bunch of .coms you guys need to visit. A bunch of homework. And, we mentioned several books. We'll have the show notes up here. And some of the resources that Russell shared. Speaking of sharing resources, I'm going to have some of my own on here, and they're going to be available to anybody. The only thing I ask in return is take the 30 seconds out of your day and go leave a review on iTunes. I read every single one of them, and they are that's how I basically get paid. It's an intrinsic payment for me. I don't get paid directly for doing this stuff for you, except for the payment that I get from, getting to have people like Russell on here and pick his brain for an hour, where normally you may have to spend thousands of dollars to just sit down with Russell or a member of his team and get some of this valuable info. But you leave me a review. More reviews I get, the longer I'm going to do this. Also, share this with your friends. Let's bring Bacon Wrap Business to anybody else who's either trying to get into business or trying to grow their business. It means a lot, all the comments that we're getting, and I encourage you to do even more. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to get a second opinion on your marketing or business strategy, you can always email me at askbrad@baconwrapbusiness.com, and I will make sure and get back to you and share all this good stuff. Maybe even feature you on the show if you've got any great bacon wrap strategies of your own. Till next time, Russell, thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Talk to you soon.
You bet.